Hello, MGTOW. Hello, men. This is Howard Dare. Thanks for stopping by. So, I want to talk about top 5 ways to deal with women who think they're dominant. But first, let me say thank you to everybody who's been stopping by, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, even donating. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, please go ahead, click the subscribe button, click the bell symbol next to it, and accept the email notifications. It'll help me grow my channel, and I'd really appreciate it. Now, let's talk about the top 5 ways to deal with women who think they're dominant. Because here's the thing, women have actually gotten it into their head that they are dominant. And in many ways, socially, they are. Who's the top of the food chain in the workplace, given the fact that it's run by human resources and emotions? Well, she is. Who's the dominant person in the educational system, seeing as how she's getting the good grades and men are being accused of looking at any place other than down at their shoes? She is. So women wield a great deal of power, even though their egos have been built up and they're really not very effective. So let's get into it. Now, a lot of the information here is taken from my bitch series of videos, how to deal with a bitch. And it's kind of jokingly done, but it's also pretty serious. You know what I mean? Because like if a woman attacks you verbally, emotionally, or physically, it's a serious issue for a man, especially a young man. If a woman is accusing you of some sort of misconduct or is just kind of disrespecting you in public and attacking you politically behind the scenes, it's a big deal given the fact that they are moving into this dominant position. So let me borrow from a friend of mine's idea, okay? Number 5, the top 5 ways to deal with women who think they're dominant. The number 5 way, evade, okay? Which is to say, ignore them. Don't even let them know that you are aware of their situation. And this is actually quite incredible, okay? And I have some evidence to back this up. If the woman doesn't think you can see her, it's as if it doesn't register within her mind to try to manipulate you. It's as if it's this huge visual and then emotional contact. And if the visual contact is not made, the emotional contact can't be moved on to. And this will even work if you can like glance at them and just not acknowledge them in any sort of emotional way, as if, you know, it is the clouds passing over the surface of the moon. The moon has nothing, nothing changes for the moon. So nothing changes for your consciousness, even if you see her. And let me suggest to you that the game of peekaboo, where the adult looks at the baby and the adult covers up its own eyes and says, pretends it can't see the baby, all right? It doesn't work on male babies. Male babies will just look at you like you're retarded. But a female baby, you know what she'll do? She'll start to cry. As soon as she loses eye contact with you, she'll start to cry. So give it a try in dealing with women who think they are dominant. Okay, number 4. And I hope you understand that, this is my list and it's being done in a kind of tongue-in-cheek manner. Okay, and I'll have some additional advice for you at the end, of the 5 tips. Number 4, you're busy and you're doing important work. And you are, you know what I mean? Like you're not standing around drinking some coffee and then she comes over to you and starts trying to assign tasks to you in the workplace. No, you are busy. You are doing your job. And what you want to do in this case is you want to try to by pointing out the work that you're doing, you're highlighting your importance and the importance of the work you are doing. And at the same time, you're belittling, you're dismissing, the work that she's doing. And don't use any emotions in this, okay? Just matter of fact, this has to do with shifting responsibility. Somebody is attempting to shift responsibility to something to you, and you're attempting to passively evade that responsibility. And it's important that you kind of do things in this order as well. Or at least, this is my opinion. You guys are free to come up with your own lists. Now, number 3 is essentially the same as number 4. But you're doing it with amusement. You are acknowledging her. You're like, oh, hello, Janie. How are you? What can I do for you? And then she starts complaining and telling you about her problems and what she needs you to do. And what you're doing is you're smiling and you're joking, like you're kind of like going along with it the whole time. But then again, you are listing the responsibilities, the shifting of responsibilities to where it's almost like you're going to have to off-put 10 jobs in order to do her one job. And this is an offsetting technique. Understand, this is not the ultimate technique, right? This is just your initial technique. This is not the real. Okay, you understand. All right. Now, moving on. Number 2, technique. And this one's kind of cruel and kind of mean. But if you're aware that the other techniques are not going to work, they're not going to, enable you to shift to get her to give up in trying to give you some sort of a job or responsibility. What you do is, you let her talk and you stay busy. And when she's done talking, after a moment of awkward silence, you tell her that you'll try to do, she wants you to do, but that you have to do your stuff first. It's your job. You'll try and help, and then don't do it. Just don't do it. In other words, almost at every step of a woman trying to express that she's dominant because socially, her situation has changed, you're trying to make it more difficult for her. I know it's a passive way of doing things, but in this situation, it's the way to start out the work. At this level, this is seriously, political stuff. In other words, this is somebody coming to you and saying, look, I need you to mail this letter. It's very important. It has to do with the whole future of the company. And you knowing that it's this woman trying to shift responsibility onto you that you really don't respect. If it was so important, she would go do it. So you're saying, yeah, I'll try. And then you're not doing it. So it's a very Machiavellian move, if you understand what I mean. And you're judging this based on the importance of the task they're assigning you. For example, you might want to just get that job done. And that moves up, to this number 1 option, okay, which is to just help out, to just try to do what they want you to do. Explain the situation and then try to do and get it done. And then avoid that person like the plague. Have nothing to do with them. Enact these other techniques like number 5 where, you're just not making eye contact with them. You're just not dealing with that person. You're just not aware of that person. You're just too busy to deal with that person. You then step that up immensely. So that doesn't really help you evade the responsibility of how to deal with a woman who thinks she's dominant. But it does, solidify the position and kind of sometimes you're just going to have to go, with the flow and get things done. Now, the real way to deal with this situation is, as I said in number 1, to listen to the person and then to explain that you will try to do it. You'll try to help them, but you have to do your job, of course. And then you go to your boss, you go to your manager, or you go to her boss, you go to her manager, or you go to human resources, and you explain the situation, right? You want to do your job, you're trying to do your job, as you understand it, they're trying to assign additional tasks to you, which would get in the way of you doing your job. What does the boss want you to do? What does the manager want you to do in that situation? And you can explain that it's uncomfortable to where other people can order you around as if like you want to cooperate, you want to help and get things done, but you can't be in a position where everybody can order you around. At some point you have to be able to go just do your job. And it's not a problem, right? Don't make an issue out of it, but just explain that situation and then ask them what they want you to do. Because this idea of you being cooperative with everybody and doing everything that anybody wants at all the time, always with a smile, it's that's great. But what time is there left for you to do your job? What time is there left for you to take care of the things that you need to take care of for yourself? So you need to protect not only, your time and your ability to do these things, but you have to protect the expectation of other people who think that they can order you around. You have to know where the boundaries are. You have to know a chain of command. And it's not based on who likes who. And the reason why this is a very important thing for you to do, to go to the boss, is because if you don't do what she's asking you to do, she will go to your boss and you will be fired. So I could suggest that one of the techniques here would be to just look her right, in the face and say, no, I have my job, you have your job. Let me do my job. I'm not aware of the fact that doing these things for you is part of my job. And then just go about your business. You might think that's the way to go, right? Any honorable, honest, direct man would think that's the way to go. Right? But you'll be fired if you do that. You can't do that. Women are in this dominant position socially. This is what's happened. This is what happens when, you give women good grades that they haven't earned and you mark the boys down throughout all of their educational career. And then this flows over into the work environment. So now you've got women walking around as if they're in positions of authority, or as if they are in positions of authority. That's the whole thing. But as if they can actually do the job, and they're walking around and they're trying to order men around, and it's the silliest thing in the world. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. But if you enjoy the content, you might want to consider clicking on the PayPal link below and supporting the Howard Dare channel, because YouTube offers virtually no support to men and men's issues. It's like 5 cents on the dollar. So let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. And please like, share, comment, subscribe, donate, and join me again, Howard Dare, as I plan to have more content for you. Thank you, MGTOW.